So today we're going to do a little track breakdown for the song Dog Blowing a Clarinet. I sort of got this idea from an old documentary series called Classic Albums. There's a Classic Albums documentary from Steely Dan where they talk about the making of their record Asia, and they kind of go through the tracks and talk about the sounds and how they made them. It's a pretty cool documentary. I think it might be on YouTube if you want to check it out. Anyway, so that's what we'll do today. We'll just go through track by track and talk about it. The song Dog Blowing a Clarinet is kind of a fun song, just about the character in the story is a guy who's walking down the beach and he's sort of in a troubled phase of his life, and he sees a vision in the sunset of a dog playing a clarinet, and it sort of becomes his power animal. Someone from Vancouver, Canada, an artist, sent me a cool painting of a dog blowing a clarinet, and it's more of a Pacific Northwestern Canadian dog blowing a clarinet, and I'll show you that image here. Anyway, let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is the drums. The bass drum and the snare drum are the Logic Virtual Drummer that I programmed with MIDI, and there's a couple of little pauses throughout the song that I kind of did in specific parts, and this is what the drums sound like. Pretty simple. And the other thing I did was I just added a real hi-hat mixed with it to kind of sort of pretend that it's a real drum set. This is a real hi-hat and the Logic drums together. So that kind of mimics the feel of kind of a real drum set, and maybe obscures that it's a programmed drum beat. The next thing I want to talk about is the bass. I had my friend Steve Baldock play bass on this track, and if you've ever seen my band on tour in the last many years, you probably saw Steve playing bass. He's a really great bass player and a really great musician in general. He has a very good articulation and feel, and he can play a lot of really cool melodies. I heard a cool thing about bass guitar, that in like pop music, the bass can be a lot busier because it's in the lower register and it's not competing with the vocal. So bass players kind of enjoy a lot of freedom in pop music. They can do a lot more without worrying about stepping on the vocal. But here's a little bit of the bass. Steve came over to my garage in Seattle, my old garage studio, and recorded this one evening. Here's the chorus. I really like that bass a lot. Steve did a great job on it. I guess the other thing would be to just talk about the rhythm guitar, the acoustic guitar. I kind of treated this a little bit differently than I've ever treated something, and kind of an unusual treatment. Something about the guitar seemed a little too flat to me when I recorded it, so I actually added like a vibrato to an recorded acoustic guitar, and you can kind of hear like kind of some modulation in that. Very slight warble in the acoustic. Sometimes it's nice to add modulation to things like a vocal or an acoustic, just to kind of give it some more movement if it's sounding a little flat. Okay, and the next thing is the vocal. This is a pretty common vocal treatment when you don't want to add a bunch of reverb to a vocal, but you want to give it some space. This has a little bit of slap back on it. Don't be afraid of who I used to be. I'll give you an example of that dry.
I hate him too, he wasn't me.
I also have a little bit of room reverb on that as well. Let's see. I'll dry it up real quick and you can hear the difference. So here's the dry vocal.
I can change just like anybody can. I can change just like any other man.
The other component to this tune is a kind of lead guitar, a little melody guitar bit in the chorus. And it has a little bit of delay on the guitar, and it's a modulated delay. So the kind of tails of the delay have a little bit of movement in them as well. Adds a little bit of warble to it, which is nice for kind of helping it stand out. It's in the left speaker. One of the other fun components of this song is the clarinet. Right after the vision of the dog blowing a clarinet and the clarinets come in. These are just MIDI instruments. It might be a no-no to use Logic instruments, but occasionally I do if they sound good. And there are definitely some usable things in Logic. And this is just 2 clarinets panned left and right, and they're kind of a harmony of each other. One's a little higher, one's a little lower. The last little bit on this song is a microbrute, Arturia microbrute analog keyboard, and it kind of has this kind of analog keyboard sound, and then I added just a little bit of reverb to it just to kind of give it a little bit of space. And the last thing I wanted to mention was these kind of background vocal harmonies here. Vision that I can't forget. They're kind of ghostly. Cool. That's pretty much the song. Here's kind of the harmonies with everything. Well, that's pretty much it. Pretty simple song with not a whole lot of tracks. I think the total track count for this song is maybe 12 tracks. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. And if there's other songs that you guys are interested about, I'd be happy to make more videos like this one. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, just wanted to let you know I have a Patreon where I do a lot of content like this. I do some interviews and I do some recording tutorial type videos, and it's just kind of like demo and performances that you can't see anywhere. So follow me on Patreon if you want to see some more exclusive content like this. Alright, thanks for watching.